وعرضنا جهنم يومئذ للكافرين عرضا. Suratul-Kahfi, Surah number 18, ayat number 100. وَعَرَضْنَا, and we will present Jahannama, hell, يَوْمَئِذٍ, on that day, لِلْكَافِرِينَ, to the disbelievers, ardan, as a presentation. So this verse is relatively simple, but if you look at the translations, I don't think there is any major flaw as such, except that the beauty is sort of not captured to the extent that it could be captured. Because this pattern, you see, aradna, ardan, it's similar to as in the last verse, jama'na, jama'an. So the root word that needs to be preserved to the extent possible. So we have used the word present in both the cases, one in the verbal form, of course, and one in the noun form, nominal form in the sentence. So, but most of the translations miss this point, and so they have not translated it preserving the root word sort of representation. Otherwise, it seems to be okay. So, another important point is that this is verse number 100, a significant milestone, not because we reached verse number 100. This surah consists of 110 verses, as it is numbered today, but also because there is this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. I think I discussed about this towards the beginning, towards the introduction, that there are various hadiths from the Prophet ﷺ, one which says, read Surah Kahf, the whole of it. So that is the rule. Read 10 verses, and there are two variations, the first 10, the last 10. So these, according to me, these two options, according to me, are the concession, and read 3 verses, that according to me is the exception. And I think I've explained all of this before. So this is verse number 100. So this marks the end of a phase, which is story number 5 or historical narrative number 5. And the last 10 verses will be a message, and this time it will be a concluding message. So introductory message, a concluding message, and there were those 4 intermediary messages between every 2 stories or historical narratives. So I think that's it. We need not prolong it unnecessarily. And when we read the last 10 verses, the message in it, we will see how and why that sort of, again, is a sort of, I mean, it's beautiful. It has its own sort of message, obviously, because it's supposed to be a message. It has its own message, its own importance, its own significance, and we'll see when we go through that one by one. So I think that's it for today. We'll just read it one more time, as we always do. Wa aradna jahannama yawma idhin lil kafirina ardan. And just to highlight one more time, yawma idhin, I said that okay, here we will not include till then and on that day. On that day is sufficient because the context sets that. So yawma idhin, the full context we took in that verse, in the previous occurrence. Here, because it's talking in connection to the last verse, I think I'll add one more point. So that will become more clear from verse number 101 onwards. But so why does this verse mark the end of the historical narrative? There is no direct relation as such with this verse in connection to the story of Gog and Magog. But in the last verse, that was the logical end, when the Gog and Magog people, they will surge like waves. We read that part, and they will crash into one another. So that we explained already. And then the trumpet, with regards to the trumpet, it will blow into the trumpet, and then we will gather them. We will gather them in a single gathering. So that we read that. And the logical conclusion is that they will be thrown into the hellfire. So this verse talks about that, and that this verse thus brings it to a logical conclusion. You can actually cross-reference it with Surah Araf, chapter 7, verse 179, where it is mentioned that the majority that the majority of the jinn kind and the humankind are destined for hellfire. And how much is the majority? That is not mentioned in the Quran itself, but that we can find in the Hadith, where it says that majority is 999 out of every 1,000. So that's a huge majority, 99.9% in percentage terms, in modern terminology. So I think that's it then. We'll just read it once, as we always do. Wa aradna jahannama yawma idhin lil kafirina ardan. And we will present hell on that day to the disbelievers as a presentation. That, by the way, is sarcasm. And when we preserve the root word, it sort of gets translated beautifully. I mean, it cannot capture the beauty in the Arabic language, but it actually at least tries to preserve that connotation to an extent, at least. So that's it then. We'll continue with the concluding message with verse number 101 onwards till 110. So we'll do that in the subsequent sessions.